just love and grace for everyone, for everyone. Yeah, for
Wonderful. Thank you very much. This lyric is in Haitian Creole, is the language of Haiti. It sounds something like French, but it's not exactly French. In fact, it's its own language. And what this means actually is it's my decision to go to Canaan, a holy place, or Canaan even. I know that I must travel through the desert, and even though the sand will be hot on my feet, it's my decision. The decision is for me to go. Okay, so that's kind of what it means. It kind of brings to mind the Exodus and other things from the Bible. So that's kind of the lyric for us there. We're going to be talking tonight about Haiti and our new partnership at Central with an organization called Haiti Partners that works in the country. In case you don't know where Haiti is, it's an island nation. It shares the same island as the Dominican Republic. So it's if you look at that map and see off there to the left, that is actually the southeastern end of Cuba. So you can see, if you then think that Florida is not too far off beyond that, it's not that far off the coast of the United States. And so that's kind of where Haiti is. We're going to be talking a little bit more about what goes on there with Haiti Partners and meeting John Engle as the evening goes along. I also want to mention at the end of the evening or sometime during it, we have some of the stuff from Haiti Partners for sale out in the fellowship room. And after the service, will be over there if you want to buy anything. But we're glad that you're here tonight, and we're going to go on and have another song.
Life itself, of love herself, it's written in our very skin. All praises to the one who made it all, who made it all. All praises to the
So we're going to connect. John Engle is actually in Florida with that background looking kind of Haitian, but he's actually in Florida, so that's where we're connecting to, thanks to Deborah, who's up in the balcony making it work. And you can see Deborah up in the corner. So John sees Deborah, we see John. That's kind of how this is going to go. There he is, getting those glasses on. I've known John for a very long time, and actually had the pleasure of officiating at John and Marilyn Engle's wedding. And so we've been friends for a long time. We're actually going to ask John to start. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, kind of how he ended up in Haiti. John has been in Haiti for a lot of years now, but he wasn't always in Haiti. In fact, he started life in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And but we're going to ask him to talk a little bit about how it is that he ended up kind of spending his life working in Haiti, and kind of telling us that story. He's going to spend a few minutes on that. Then we'll see if you have any questions.
It was 1990. I was working for Panasonic out of the Chicago office. 26 years old, I'm on a promising track, making some good money for a 26-year-old, but I'm coming up short on meeting. And I didn't know what to do about it. So I basically did some exploration, joined up with an organization that perhaps some of you are familiar with, or a person that you might be familiar with, Tony Campolo, based outside of Philadelphia. I joined up with his organization, took a leave of absence from Panasonic for 2 years, and I moved to Haiti to work with his organization supporting education. So I moved to Haiti actually in May of 1991. 5 months later, there's a violent government overthrow of the first democratically elected president of Haiti. Perhaps some of you remember this. And it was a priest, a Haitian priest that was elected, a popular vote. It was an unbelievably encouraging time in Haiti when I got there in May of 1991. But after this government overthrow, I witnessed horrible things. More importantly, I witnessed inspiring things of Haitians willing to risk their lives for freedom and democracy. And quite frankly, it changed me. And I engaged with them the history of Haiti, of an oppressed people that started in brutality and exploitation that's some of the most severe that we know of in human history. And seeing what the Haitians were coming up against, I ended up staying. So that's how I got to Haiti. What's at the root of problems in Haiti? My analysis today is very similar to what it was during my first year in Haiti, and that is that the conception around is largely about top-down dominance, exploitation, as opposed to servant leadership or something where leaders exist to help people to discover their full potential. And it's not the least bit surprising that this would come about when you look at Haiti's history, the legacy of slavery, of colonialism, of then the missionary movement, international development, everything very top-down. And so, in a sense, as Haitians come to power, whether it's in a family, or in a school, or in an organization, a community, in politics, so often power is abused. And we know what happens when power is abused. Power leads to the demise of families, of communities, of organizations, institutions, societies. And so what we started doing early in the 90s was taking a collaborative approach. Some of you may be familiar with open space technology, meeting format where you convene people on a theme, but it's the people who are present who create the agenda together and then self-organize. So we started doing these methods and training people, and then back in the early 90s, we also used touchstones discussions. And it's so great to be talking about this now because, like, Don knows this. Don's been involved with this whole evolution and has watched this and seen the things that we were up against and the challenges. And as many of you may know, Don and I met in 1991, soon after I arrived in Haiti. And he then was, when I left Haiti and moved back to the US, he was the first person that I contacted to join our board as we were creating a new organization. At that point, it was Beyond Borders. So Don's seen this whole evolution. But at any rate, our analysis was doing this for several years and taking thousands of people through this. We developed what we refer to as circles of change, taking Haitian leaders, teachers, educators through a 6-month process, learn better listening skills, collaborative leadership. But our experience was it wasn't happening where they would take the principles that they were learning and take them back to their institutions to transform their institutions. And there came a time that, and by this time in 2003, Marlene, my wife, we got married, and as many of you may know, Marlene is Haitian and born and raised in Haiti. When we first met, she didn't speak English. And so she's influencing this whole discussion, and we're living in this community after we got married, and there's need for education there, and we said, you know, we need to go granular. We need to go deep. And instead of thinking about how we're going to influence thousands and do trainers, and we need to make sure that we're having an impact on the culture around leadership and education. And the school, people are already coordinated around the school. Parents bring their children to a school every day. Parents interact to some degree or another with the school leadership and teachers. Students see the way parents are interacting. It just seems like a perfect place to really try to impact culture. So, eventually, Marlene and I, along with members of our community, felt led to really go deep and to start our own school. Now, we still have 6 other partner schools with a total in the partner schools of about 1,000 children. We're helping those partner schools. They existed before Haiti Partners was formed. We're supporting them with training and education. But our own school, the Children's Academy, is where we feel that we can really have an impact. And so that's what we're focused on. And the way we conceptualize the school is very different than the way school is typically done in Haiti. So parents are very poor, but they give 4 service hours a week in order to have their children at the school. They work in our gardens where we do permaculture, organic farming, extensive school gardens. They work in the hand paper making, and you'll probably see some samples of our greeting cards made of handmade paper of natural fibers, nat plants, and called Fancy Bear. Now we're doing hot sauce. Marlene's making hot sauce. We feel that the school should be a place where community development happens, a place of lifelong learning for the parents, and a place where children are learning, as we say, they're being prepared and inspired to be change makers. And to be a change maker in Haiti, you feel that you need to learn entrepreneurship, because there's not enough jobs. There's not enough jobs in Haiti. And we're frequently asked, what will the children do when they finish with their school? Well, in our opinion, most of them will be creating jobs through entrepreneurship. But the way that we best learn entrepreneurship is by doing, is by watching, is by growing up in the air we breathe, the water we drink around us. So at the school, they're being exposed to this. The parents are engaged, the children are engaged. Right now we have 200 students at the Children's Academy. We opened the doors in 2012, September, with 30 children 3 years old. Now those children are 9 years old. We will keep adding a grade every year until they're finished with the last year in Haitian school is the 13th grade. So that's a bit about, oh, I would just add that we put special attention to collaborative leadership. So it's a leadership team that leads the school. They make decisions together, they meet weekly. they meet with the staff every week. Teachers play a part in hiring new teachers. It's very, very collaborative. The feeling is that the only way that we can change the culture around education and the culture around leadership is by doing it. So in a sense, the children are learning that growing up. The parents are seeing that in regular parent meetings, input from the parent on big decisions about the school, monthly open meetings where the community comes in, is invited. So it's really been an extraordinary project to be involved with. And we are so grateful that Central Presbyterian has gotten involved with it too. We know 10 years is going to be here before we know it. So that's basically how much time we have with the children. And in terms of the education, and already the Children's Academy does have internet, does have Wi-Fi. Children, third graders and fourth graders work on computers. So we know that internet, or we anticipate that internet and higher education will be more available online rather than less. So we think that perhaps we will have something online with visiting professors, because we are, for children or young people to go to Port-au-Prince, it's expensive and it takes time to commute. It could take 2 hours one way. It's not far, but just because of intense traffic and public transportation with numerous stops. So if we can provide higher education there, or technical education, we've also, when we built our second building at the Children's Academy, it's actually earthquake resistant, hurricane resistant construction, but it was done in partnership with another organization that trained and accompanied parents of the students to build it. So in terms of giving options to students of different types of technical skills, that's also part of what we see is on the horizon. The Circle Fund is something that we've developed to address the challenges in fundraising, because whether you're a nonprofit that's working in the U.S. or a nonprofit that's working in other countries, it's just an ongoing challenge to raise the necessary funds to meet your budget and accomplish. It's especially challenging for Haiti because now going on 9 years out since the earthquake, and there's what we refer to as fatigue, like will we be giving Haiti money? When will Haiti be self-sufficient? So we need to continually think of best possible strategies that want to get involved. And one of the things that people are doing, different organizations have been doing it for several years, is getting a base of support to cover the operating budget. And when we cover the operating budget, that means that we reach out to the prospective donor and say, look, we already have people that are committed to the organization and covering the operating budget. If you give to the organization, 100% of your gift will go toward programs. So the Circle Fund is an effort to get all of our operating budget covered, so that we can then attract new donors, be more attractive to new donors by saying 100% of what you give will go towards programs. So for us, the people that are stepping in to support the Circle, it's very, very special feeling and deep gratitude that we have, and especially for Central. It was so interesting for me, meeting with Kevin Hickle and Don and with Bill Anderson, and talking about the missions team approaches it, that it's not necessarily a traditional approach. A lot of times, my experience over the years is that a missions committee wants to get something that really is attractive and concrete, that they can talk in very simple language of what their foundation is, and Kevin and Bill were explaining, well, we really want to do something strategic. in a way that can really support the organization during a juncture that can hopefully lead to the organization being independent from us and not needing our ongoing support, but that if we can help in a strategic way, that's the type of thing Central Presbyterian wants to do. And for us, that was really significant because, as I explained to them, we have been dealing with it. One of our largest donors has made a transition to focus more on several countries to pull out of Haiti. And foundations do that. It's a strategic decision, and we're dealing with that. But it meant that we have a gap that we need to fill, and so Central Presbyterian support is really appreciated. So we invite people to use their birthday on Facebook to raise funds for Haiti Partners. Facebook has done such a great service to nonprofits in the way that they make it so easy to start a campaign around your birthday, and then they give the funds without any charges. They pass it on, and they make it easy to contribute. So we saw that people were signing up to do that. And we said, well, let's add some fun to it. And we said, we'll send hot sauce, a Haiti Partners t-shirt, and some greeting cards off to everybody who commits to do use their birthday as a fundraising campaign to Haiti Partners. So we immediately got a dozen people that signed up when we did this during the summer. And then we stopped it because we ran out of hot sauce after about a month of giving it to different people and people ordering it. So now we have lots of hot sauce again. People sign up for their birthday. And then there's also language hangouts. Haitians want to learn English. Like so many people in the world, I want to learn English. The internet, when we can speak English, it just opens up so many opportunities. So, English is part of the curriculum at the Children's Academy, and we have a solid afternoon program for young people in the community to come and learn English. They have other activities in the afternoon, but English is a big part of it. It's been fun over the years to watch how young people have become fluent in English. And one of the things that's really helped is what we refer to as language hangouts. Typically, it's an 8-week session where somebody in the U.S. commits to 20 to 30 minutes a week. 20 to 30 minutes, you will have a partner, a young person in Haiti that's probably somewhere between 18 and 30, who's working on English, has a base, and will benefit tremendously from having conversation with a native English speaker. So you get a guide that's as part of the program to questions, things to talk about, subject, questions you can ask, and we've just watched how these language hangouts, the young people really take them seriously, and it just really helps them with their English and become more confident in speaking and getting used to speaking English with a native English speaker.
So when is the next time to sign up?
They just finished an 8-week session, and we have 2 volunteers that coordinated, and they're working on that right now. So you could send an email to me, John at Haiti Partners, and I will connect you at john@haitipartners.org, and I will connect you with the 2 volunteer coordinators.
And is there a time of the day when this happens?
Is there a time of day when this happens?
Yes, usually it's sometime in the afternoon, Eastern time, because it's a lot of times the people have activities during the morning. Sometimes it's school, sometimes it's university, and it's in the afternoon. I think it's typically between 3 to 6.
Thank you, John Engle, for joining us. And,
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and thank you, Deborah Huggins, for that.
How the universe do you
just put this Bible verse from Hebrews. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that some have entertained angels without knowing it. And it's a really important verse. It's as Hebrews is ending up. And the question that you might, we're not going to do this tonight because of time, but it is something to think about. If you understand that verse, what that verse is really saying is that an angel is, if you will, a messenger from God. An angel is one who brings news from God. Remember in the Gospels, the angels on Christmas, they have great news to share. So that's what an angel does. So if you think about that, what a stranger can be, what Hebrews is saying, a stranger can be is somebody who's bringing you a message from God, somebody who wants to teach you something. John mentioned when he went to Haiti and saw that folks, the bravery of folks to actually live out their lives to greater freedom and everything. It was like a message to him from God. And so it is to think about in your own life when you meet somebody new or there's a stranger that interacts with you, could this be somebody that God's put here in my life to say something to me, to give me a message, to teach me something? Is that a possibility? And when it becomes a possibility, all of life starts to open up, it seems to me. I'm going to leave you with just a little bit of Haitian Creole. We're going to learn a little bit tonight. If you took French, this is going to sound very familiar to you. So when you say hello at this time of night or this time of day in French, you might say to somebody bonsoir, right? Same in Haitian Creole, bonsoir. Can you say that? Bonsoir. Don't say that N, just kind of let bonsoir. Bonsoir. Now, in Haitian Creole, you can say the same word for goodbye that the French say, which is au revoir. Au revoir. You can say that, but everybody would know that you're not Haitian at all if you say that. What you really want to say when you say goodbye to somebody is this, nawe pita. So it's nawe pita. Nawe pita. And let's speed it up. Nawe pita. Nawe pita. And that means we'll see you later. We'll see you later. And so nawe pita, have a great week and see you next week.